UFC 324. These are my early predictions and the betting breakdown. We're over a month away, but I figured I'd give you guys a holiday treat. I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card nice and early. So make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. Also note, I'll be live for the entire card, January 24th. It's a Saturday, of course, 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'm vacation, Jay, right now. I'm out of the office, but I'm still bringing you guys a cult banger. All right, so let's jump right into it. Fight number one, Ricky Turcios versus Cameron Smotherman. I got to go with the upside of Cameron Smotherman. I think he's going to be physically the more imposing fighter, stopping takedowns, landing bigger shots on the feet. His wrestling defense is pretty good, and Turcios has nice jiu-jitsu, but he's kind of slow twitch. His kickboxing is mediocre. I haven't really been all that impressed by either guy here inside of the UFC, but I got to put some respect on Smotherman's name for giving, Ricky Simone a decent fight and fighting off some takedown attempts and having more upside at 28 than Turcios at 32. 1-3 in his last four has been a bit underwhelming. Kind of like if he doesn't take the backing control and finish, what does he do with Smotherman? Does he win a split decision? His UFC wins are unimpressive. Natividad split, and then the Turcios first UFC fight against Brady Hiestand was the Ultimate Fighter finale like 4.5 years ago. That was great and all because Hiestand's a decent prospect, but split decision there. And then you got Smotherman. He beat Jake Hadley on a short notice debut and is losing 2 in a row. I feel as though Smotherman's the better striker, the cleaner striker, the more explosive striker, the better defensive wrestler, or at least maybe not better defensive wrestler like Smotherman's going to be out wrestling him, but the defensive wrestling should be good enough in this matchup where Smotherman can have some moments and he can probably outwork Turcios over 3 rounds. I'm going to say Smotherman's athleticism carries in this fight. I think that he's stopping a potential grappling attack. Turcios kickboxing, it's on the slower side. At times he can be low output. Got decent leg kicks. He's got a bit of straight punches in the flow. Neither guy you're watching and saying, wow, this dude's on the, surge of a contendership. But I do think Smotherman's got a bit more of a high ceiling, and I think his athleticism could carry here. And I feel like he could hit Turcios with some bigger shots, fend off some grappling attacks. And I think in a competitive and potentially sloppy back and forth fight, we see Cameron Smotherman most likely get it done in this one. Now, we don't have betting lines for this fight yet. I've yet to see them. What I will say, I presume odds are going to be pretty damn close between the two of these guys. I do think they'll be close towards the even mark. I'll double check and see if we can find some odds, but the odds on this card at this point out, granted we're more than a month away, so I'm not shocked, rather limited here. Let's see if there's any odds anywhere for this fight. Turcios, Smotherman odds. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, still nothing. I checked before, just overviewing all of the lines. There was nothing there. And looking at it now, it doesn't seem like there's anything there just yet. But it doesn't matter. I assume even odds. I could even see potentially light favorite status as some money comes in on the side of Smotherman. Maybe Turcios opens up as a favorite, but I'd be hard-pressed to say that with confidence. I'm going to say Smotherman's athleticism should carry. Takedown defense holds up. Land some bigger and better shots. The better athlete should win this fight. I'll pick Smotherman. Next fight, Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. This video would have been released Sunday afternoon if not for this fight, because I actually felt like I had to spend some extra time and really sit on this matchup because I was in a bit of a internal battle, okay? I just feel like Michael Johnson's going to win a close decision. I think he's going to find a way to out-kickbox Hernandez in a competitive fight. And it's crazy for me to say, picking against a 33-year-old who's on a 4-fight win streak, though. Like, Alexander Hernandez has been doing well, albeit, okay, he beat Diego Ferreira pretty bad. Diego Ferreira is a pretty mid-striker. He's slow as hell on the feet, and he's old now. Michael Johnson lost to Diego Ferreira, but it was 2.5 years ago. Diego Ferreira was better then. There's obviously been some signs that Diego Ferreira has lost a step, okay? And Michael Johnson was out kickboxing him early. Ferreira throwing big shots, catches him over the top. That's a Michael Johnson story, though. Like, you can't be deceived. Oh, my God. Michael Johnson lost to Diego Ferreira and Hernandez beat him, so he should win. You know, Michael Johnson, nothing really makes sense with him. And then you look at Michael Johnson's style. You got quick boxing from the southpaw stance, good from mid-range, good from long range. On the inside, it's not like he's got weaknesses with like fending off clinch work or grappling threats. And it's not like Hernandez is this A-caliber wrestler. I feel like Michael Johnson's kind of hit this weird, like, late resurgence, beating Daniel Zellhuber in a close fight. Zellhuber's a sharp striker. And for him to win is a huge deal at 39. So he's coming into this fight not only on a 3-fight win streak, but coming off a win against a really, really bright prospect in Daniel Zellhuber. And now you give him Alexander Hernandez, who's good. But it's not like Alexander Hernandez seems like on the cusp of contention. I think Michael Johnson's faster with the hands. I feel like Hernandez is going to be getting stung by shots on the mid-range here. I think we could see Michael Johnson potentially crack Hernandez with some big punches, maybe potentially even hurt him. It's wild to say that heading into 2026, I'm picking Michael Johnson, who was on The Ultimate Fighter Season 11. Okay, he was the finalist. But I think that he's live to pull this one off. I just think the stylistic matchup is there for him. Johnson's going to be fast for Alexander Hernandez that likes to strike. And then let's say Hernandez tries to grapple. I think Michael Johnson is stuffing those takedowns. And I think he's outboxing Alexander Hernandez. His hands are faster. His boxing is technically sharper. And I think he's going to pull this one off. Hernandez is solid. I picked him last time against Diego Ferreira and he knocked him out. A lot of people slept on him leading up to that fight. There's been other fights, though, that he hadn't been as impressive. He was a big underdog against Chase Hooper, sick knockout win. Kurt Hollabaugh fight, competitive, he wins. Hubbard fight, competitive, he wins. Ain't no split decision. He clearly won that fight. But I look at the recent opponents, and it's like there's the flaw in them, right? It's like, all right, Chase Hooper's stand-up game is not good. Diego Ferreira was 40-something years old and well past his prime. Granted, I know Michael Johnson's 39, but I think he's got more juice than the recent Diego Ferreira. I'm going to say Michael Johnson puts together a really sharp performance and pulls off a surprise. He's going to be an underdog here. I think he might be live to be sitting around plus 150 to plus 200, depending upon the open odds. We'll see what we get it, during fight week when we officially break this card down in the week of. But I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, Michael Johnson on a close decision, surprising Alexander Hernandez with speed. I mean, at 39, Michael Johnson is scary fast. I think he can get this win. And I'm going to say that Michael Johnson keeps a little streak going, gets 4 in a row. And somehow we're looking at Michael Johnson getting together a top 15 fight in 2026, which would kind of be one of the more feel-good stories in the MMA game, honestly. So I'm going to say Michael Johnson pulls out a hard-fought win. I think he outboxes Alexander Hernandez. The hand speeches show itself, and I like the southpaw stance too. I think Hernandez is going to have a hard time mixing it up in boxing range with him, and I don't think there's a big takedown threat. Obviously, Hernandez has some pop. Best chance, catch Michael Johnson with a big punch and shut his lights off. I just don't think that happens here. I'm going to go Michael Johnson. Next one, Natália Silva versus Thug Rose Namajunas. The bout order is definitely not the official order here on Tapology. I am going with Natália Silva. She's filling in on short notice, but I thought she was going to be fighting Valentina Shevchenko for the world title next. This is the prospect right now, or the contender on the rise now. At 28 years old, Natália Silva has been nothing short of spectacular. Unbeaten in the UFC, coming off of a massive win against former world champion Alexa Grasso, who initially was fighting Rose Namajunas on this card. Natália Silva takes it on, a little bit of short notice. It was like, 8 weeks. It's essentially a full camp. Replaces Alexa Grasso. Now we have Natália Silva taking on, even though Grasso's a former world champion, I mean, this is the biggest name. This is huge for Natália Silva's resume. Rose Namajunas is one of the best to ever do it in women's MMA, but specifically in the women's strawweight division, obviously this being a women's flyweight fight. I like the matchup being that Rose Namajunas has some really sharp kickboxing skills. Rose Namajunas not going to have a massive threat of being grapple fucked. Not that Natália Silva can't grapple, though. Natalia Silva could surprise with some takedowns, but I think it's going to be a lot of striking. I think Natalia's speed is going to be the difference maker. The 28-year-old Natalia Silva, one of the quickest strikers in women's MMA right now, rips good punch and kick flurries together, sharp with lateral movement and then landing offensive counters, which I like here. Thug Rose is a nasty striker, though. She's really sharp with kickboxing. She's good darting in and out of range. Her grappling defense is obviously sharp, but I think she's at a bit of a speed disadvantage against Natalia Silva, who also has a high output. I think that output does get to Rose Namajunas. I think Natalia Silva is going to take it on the judges' scorecards. I think she's going to end up winning this fight. I think Thug Rose could have a few moments here, but I think you'll see Natalia Silva landing more shots. The volume is going to win her the fight. The faster hands, the faster kicks will win her the fight. I think that Rose gets to the target, but Natalia gets a lot more. And percentage-wise, she should be a lot more accurate here in dealing with the Thug Rose stand-up game. I'm going to say Natalia Silva with a good volume onslaught, aggressive counter-striking at times, but even pressure forward. And even if need be, though, circling and counter shooting. I think that she's going to catch Rose Namajunas with some big shots on the feet. And I think Thug Rose is going to get outworked here over 3 rounds against Natalia Silva, who I thought should have already earned the title shot. She'll do another one. And then up next is a title fight. Whether it's against Valentina or not, that remains to be seen, right? Because with Valentina Shevchenko, possibility of her going up and fighting the winner of Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison, which is on this card. And then that would leave a maybe vacant title fight between Manon Fiorot and the winner of Rose Namajunas and Natalia Silva. And I'm under the assumption strongly that Natalia Silva is going to be the one that wins. You can see I got betting lines for this fight. Minus 270. At open, it was minus 150. So these odds are growing. And they're growing fast. I mean, Natalia Silva, she's probably going to be in the minus 300 or more range here in the next 2 weeks, especially as, you know, there's some hype building on the card. We're back in January. We're, 2 weeks out. You're going to see this number rise. I think a lot of people truly believe that Natalia Silva seems to be next up for the throne, at the very least fighting for it, but really live to win it too. I favor her to pull this one off. I think she outworks Thug Rose Namajunas. It feels like just a bit of a no-brainer pick. I think Natalia Silva is going to be too much for Rose Namajunas at this point. And Rose, listen, she lost Erin Blanchfield, but before that, she had won 2 in a row, beat Tracy Cortez up, beat Amanda Ribas, Manon Fiorot fight. She broke her index finger, gave a decent out, but still lost. That was crazy. That was 2 years ago now. I think it's Natalia Silva's time. I mean, you look at the role, look at the recents. Grasso, former champ. Andrade, former champ, right? Araujo, prospect killer. She ran through her. Andrea Lee, easy W. Victoria Leonard, easy dubs. Champion, and now another champion. I think Natalia Silva is collecting some former world champs on the resume, and I think she's live to become a future world champion. So I'm going Natalia Silva to pull this one off. I'm going with the wide favorite. Next fight, we got Josh Hokit versus Denzel Freeman. I'm going to go with Josh Hokit, but Denzel Freeman's good, though. His UFC debut was boring, okay? It was a slow, technical sparring match against Marak Buyo. That was a really letdown fight, honestly. Like the hype on, that fight coming in, you're like, yo, you got the former Polish grappling champ, then you got Denzel Freeman, who beat Steven Asplund, who's one of the bright stars on the rise from this past Contender Series season. I think that Josh Hokit's going to be too fast for Denzel Freeman, and you're going to see he's the better wrestler between the two. Even though he's going to be at like a 20, 25-pound weight disadvantage, I think that Hokit can still take Denzel Freeman down. And when they're striking, I think Hokit's speed is going to show itself. He's one of these lighter heavyweights. But the thing is, he's not a small heavyweight. He's still 6'1", right? He's still in the 235 range. At least he's not 218. But we've seen guys like Stipe Miocic was champ at that weight. So it's not like you have to be 265 plus, or at least on 265, and then on fight day, 275, 280 to be a heavyweight contender. I think Josh Hokit has the gift of speed. Now, I will say, Denzel Freeman's going to have the reach advantage. That's an interesting factor coming into this fight, but I don't know. I was really underwhelmed by what I witnessed against Buyo. Denzel Freeman's win against Asplund is nice, but Asplund's ground game is very bad. We've seen him strike, and it's awesome. but that's a flaw, and Denzel Freeman exposed that. Denzel Freeman's debut, he took on a guy with a good grappling base. It was a slow and steady kickboxing fight. It wasn't good at all. And Denzel Freeman made it look pretty easy, winning, a bit of a snooze fest decision. But Hokit's not just going to sit on the outside and kickbox with him. If the boxing isn't working, Josh Hokit will look to wrestle. And Josh Hokit is the better wrestler between the two. Freeman can wrestle, but Josh Hokit has the better accolades. And I think you're going to see he's faster with the takedown threat, better with level changes. And I also think when they go to the ground, Hokit's going to be tough to deal with from top position. I feel like Hokit could end up winning on the cards, though, here. Buzzsawing through Denzel Freeman, that doesn't seem like an easy feat. You see, Freeman's only loss was in PFL, and it was a decision. I'm kind of thinking Hokit wins some of the striking exchanges, mixes some takedowns in. Denzel Freeman maybe has a couple of moments, landing some okay shots. His boxing is not bad, but I think Hokit's boxing is a little bit faster, a little bit better. A little more power on the Josh Hokit side. And then with that, I also think he's going to have the technical wrestling edge. And I think in top position, he can grind out Denzel Freeman a bit, work some ground and pound. I'm going to say Josh Hokit goes out and deals with a difficult guy, ex-U.S. Marine and Denzel Freeman. There's a lot to like for him here. And Josh Hokit is a big shit talker, and people are hoping he gets his mouth shut soon. I just don't know about Denzel Freeman getting it done. If he would have looked better in that debut, maybe it would have told us more. Granted, the guy he was fighting was undefeated coming into the fight, but it was shit. It was shit. It was so bad. Like, I just am having a hard time going out and saying that he's going to get it done. Hokit has shown us knockout power. Hokit definitely has wrestling. Hokit definitely has deceptive speed. He's one of the more quick and athletic heavyweights on the roster. Being at 235, the lighter man's skill, I think, pays off here against Denzel Freeman, who's going to be a little bigger, but it's, some extra body fat on him, not just muscle tissue. And I think that is the differential mark, and the speed should favor Josh Hokit on the feet. And then obviously I rate the wrestling accolades and wrestling ability as superior. I think that he's going to be able to take Denzel Freeman down and grind out a win. Josh Hokit, his debut was against a shit can, but so was Denzel Freeman's, and at least Hokit knocked him out, Freeman got it done in a snoozy kickboxing fight. So Hokit for the W here. Next one, Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. The energy has his chance to break into the real top of the top now. I'm going with Charles Johnson to finally get himself on the cusp of contendership. Charles Johnson's damn good. Charles Johnson beat Joshua Van. He's the only guy in the UFC who has a win over current UFC flyweight champ Joshua Van. Say whatever you want about how it happened. Charles Johnson beat him. He knocked him out violently, okay? And that's the guy that has the W over Pantoja, regardless of how it ended, and the damn belt. Charles Johnson, he's got good defensive wrestling, but he also has sharp, long-distance striking. He's got a damn good chin. Makes good reads on his opponents well, and good comeback ability, good analysis ability in that first round. Like the Lawner Kavanaugh fight. Lawner Kavanaugh looked like a man possessed in round number 1 and was getting to Charles Johnson on the rig. Round 2 comes out, starts making his reads. Kavanaugh put too much out trying to get the stoppage, and Charles Johnson puts him away. Charles Johnson's really good, okay? He's the prospect killer. Now he fights Alex Perez, who's 1-4 in his last 5, just lost Aswan Mabayev, but to give him some credit, was winning a lot of moments in that fight, landing takedowns, winning some boxing exchanges. Alex Perez is damn good, and I don't think he's walking into a gilly in this fight. Alex Perez has had some issues with submission defense against some of the better grapplers, right? He doesn't have much of a sub threat against Charles Johnson. Where the fight's difficult in this matchup is the stand-up, and I do think the defensive wrestling of Charles Johnson shows. I think we're going to see Charles Johnson win some of the striking exchanges from long range. I think he should be able to sharpshoot on Alex Perez, and meaning straight shots down the line should be a positive factor. Perez in the pocket, ripping some big shots over the top, making it a dirty and nasty fight. That's how he wins. But Charles Johnson is good at countering that type of style. And even the Ramazan Temirov loss. I mean, Temirov popped, right? They said it was a steroid cream of some kind. It's all confusion. If they're training in Thailand, steroids are legal over there, okay? So you go over, you buy it over the counter, and next thing you know it, you test positive for whatever. I have to be sus on you. And Ramazan Temirov, the man who beat Charles Johnson most recently, also has a freakish Hulk-like physique at 125. And Charles Johnson still won the 3rd round in that fight. The guy's got an endless gas tank. Let me tell you this. Charles Johnson is a 5-round fighter. You know, if he could get some 5-round fights, I really think he could give a lot of top guys a run for their money. I'm going to say that in a 3-round, though, he does pull it off against Alex Perez. I think he can nab 2 out of the 3 rounds. Might lose the first, win the second and third. First round, he's making his reads. Second and third, he picks it up. And especially the third, I think he's going to be able to put on Alex Perez, put it on him a bit with some big shots, put it on him a bit with some pressure, put it on him a bit with some good straight, some heavy kicks to the body, some nice leg kicks, maybe even some knees to the body and elbows on the inside. I think Charles Johnson is able to counter the Alex Perez like pressure boxing attack with some wrestling in the arsenal. I see Johnson's takedown defense holding up, and I think he can win. I think he can crack Alex Perez. I can see him hurting him. He's coming into the fight also being taller, right? Nice reach advantage for him here, 4.5 inches. There's a lot to like from Alex Perez in this matchup on the opposite end of it. But I think that Charles Johnson's got the tools to counter the Perez game. And I'm going to say that he pulls this one out by a decision. I think he'll nab 2 out of the 3 rounds. I think he could crack Perez with some decent punches. And maybe Charles Johnson puts him away. If he knocks out Joshua Van, he knocks out Leonard Kavanaugh, not an impossibility that he's also sleeping Perez. But at least right now, how I'm feeling, you know, over a month out sitting here, I favor cards. I favor decision. But Charles Johnson could hurt him, especially Alex Perez, 1-4 in his last 5, has no momentum on his side, whereas Charles Johnson is on fire right now. And the only guy, you know, he loses to getting the, you know, drug test failure. He's got to feel like that ain't even a real loss on the resume. So I'm going to go with Charles Johnson to show out, get the biggest win of his life, break into probably the top 15, or rather he's in the top 15, but break into like the top 10. And, you know, maybe a serious contender fight is on the horizon. I was hoping maybe they match him up with Steve Erceg. I think that's another winnable fight for a guy that's inside of that top 10 for Charles Johnson. And we'll see what 2026 has in store. But I do think he starts it off right against former title challenger Alex Perez. Next fight on the card, we got Ateba Gautier versus Andrey Pulyaev. I got to pick Ateba Gautier. I think his power, his pressure, his physicality, the freak factor of the guy that just has an insane ability to land bombs on the feet, natural timing on his shots, and a confidence that he has that's kind of unmatched with a lot of 23-year-old prospects. He's probably not human. I don't know, man. He's a Cameroon fighter, right? We saw Francis Ngannou, a freak of nature from Cameroon. Gautier might be freakier. Obviously, he's not 260 pounds. But Ateba Gautier looks like he'd weigh 225 pounds with, you know, a shredded 6-pack, but he's fighting at middleweight. Dude is built like he could make a run in the heavyweight division, which is just insane. His power is otherworldly. His takedown defense is actually, I think, sharp and definitely getting better. Seems to have a good fight IQ. See, people mistake, you know, Gautier as just some big puncher. He comes from a base of, you know, the combat sambo game, right? So he does have a real martial arts background. It's not like he just got into fighting 2 years ago and is a freak athlete. I think Ateba Gautier is making mincemeat of Andrey Pulyaev in round number 1. I think this is a 1-round fight. Pulyaev is a sharp striker. He's got good, long, like Soviet-style boxing from distance. Problem is, pressure is going to wilt him. He was struggling with Nick Klein early in the fight. Klein's relentlessness was really getting to Andrey Pulyaev. And then, obviously, Klein falls apart after his chaos blitz doesn't work. It's not going to be survived by Ateba Gautier. Pulaev's getting knocked out. His other loss, Andrey Pulaev's, is against a real good fighter. I mean, Christian Leroy Duncan, and Pulyaev goes out and still goes 3 rounds. Leroy Duncan is a spectacular technical striker with a well-rounded game, but like Ateba Gautier is just a freak. One shot from Gautier and the fight literally ends. His power seems otherworldly. Granted, you can say, yeah, but his opponents are mid. Jose Medina, Robert Valentin, and Tristan Vines. Fair. Yuri Naito, who I guess, you know, a year and 2 months ago, did give him a little bit of pause in that fight, went a little longer, but that was his contender series fight. And at 23, the improvements are going to be crazy in his 4th UFC fight versus his contender series fight. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he's fight mostly cans. Now he fights an actual good fighter, a 10-3 Russian, but I don't think it matters. I think Ateba Gautier is on the cusp of something major. I think he's a guy that can break into the top 15 in the next year. And I really think the physical attributes that he has, how he's beating people, I don't think it's crazy to say this is a future contender in the light, or excuse me, in the middleweight division, maybe even light heavyweight division, to be honest with you, because at 23, how long is he going to make this 185, 186 mark? Eventually, he might have to move up to light heavyweight. But I think Ateba Gautier can really make some waves here at middleweight, and they're building him up right. I mean, look at the opposition. The UFC are heavily invested in Ateba Gautier. I think that he violently knocks out Andrey Pulyaev here. And then I think it's a step-up fight a bit more. This is a step-up fight. Don't get it twisted. 10-3, Contender Series winner as well. Good fighter in Andrey Pulyaev. But I think that Ateba Gautier could be ready for some of, like, the vets. Like, I was thinking him versus Kelvin Gastelum on this card. And maybe he's the first guy that chins Gastelum. But looking at it now, the fact that he's only got 3 UFC fights and is only 23, better off. Give him a little more time to marinate before deciding, okay, it's the Lion's Den. Because then if you beat Kelvin Gastelum, it's only like ranked guys from there or very close to rank. Beating Pulyaev, it's like a good mid-level prospect that has some real upside and does have good stand-up and is well-rounded in mixed martial arts skills, but is at a massive physicality and power disadvantage that is going to be way too much to overcome. It's Gautier round number 1. There's no odds for it yet. I expect Gautier as a 4-1, maybe 5-1 favorite against a good fighter in Pulyaev. I feel bad. Pulyaev is such a big underdog. He's sharp, but it is what it is. Ateba Gautier is a different animal. Pulyaev, he's getting thrown to the damn killer on the rise right now, and unfortunately for him, he'll fall victim to the Gautier power like everybody else. Next fight on the card, it's Umar Nurmagomedov versus Deiveson Figueiredo. I'm going Umar Nurmagomedov to go out and win this fight. I really like his chances in this spot. I think that Deiveson Figueiredo, he's still good. He's still good, but he's past his prime. He's 38 years old. He struggled with Montel Jackson. Get out of my face. You know what I'm saying? Umar Nurmagomedov is a sharp kickboxer. Umar Nurmagomedov has nasty wrestling. Umar Nurmagomedov is the guy in this fight. Deiveson Figueiredo still has big power, nasty straight shots, right? He's got the gift of power that's carried up to 135, but I don't see Umar get knocked out. Could get caught by a big punch. I mean, with Umar, one thing to be said about him, there is that, like, scary moment in fights that he's rocked. It happened, against Mario Batista last time. It even happened against nasty prospect Beksat Almakan, But I think that Umar Nurmagomedov should be able to outwork Deiveson Figueiredo. I think he should be able to out-wrestle him. I think he should be able to out-kickbox him. I think he's going to be the faster striker from range, the better wrestler, the better grappler from top, the more physically imposing threat in this fight. And also, like, he's 8 years younger and he's in his prime, and Deiveson just isn't. And he's a former flyweight champ. Like, Deiveson is outmatched in the physicality department here against this Dagestani savage. Listen, Umar Nurmagomedov is very good. Gave a difficult fight to Merab. Obviously, Merab is no longer champion, but, like, let's not just, write off Merab at this point and think that he doesn't have a chance in a trilogy fight against Petr Yan. That fight will happen. I think Umar Nurmagomedov wins here, and he is in, like, the title fight sweepstakes, putting 2 together. Beat Mario Batista last time, who's an absolute machine. And, Umar Nurmagomedov able to out-grapple him, get to top position, try and threaten with submissions. I think that Deiveson Figueiredo would lose to a Mario Batista. I actually think, like, on paper, the name on the resume for Umar, this is fantastic. But as far as the difficult threat of opponent, I think Batista's a tougher fight for Umar Nurmagomedov. I think Corey Sandhagen's a tougher fight for Umar Nurmagomedov. Right? You look at Umar Nurmagomedov's new, opponent here, and they're not new, not like it's a canceled fight, but, like, the new name that's being put to the test against him. Of the past 3 fights, this should be the easiest. This should be the fight where maybe he gets another finish. Maybe he knocks Deiveson Figueiredo out with a big counter shot. I don't think he does, though. I think he probably gets it on the scorecards. I think Nurmagomedov technically out kickboxes Figueiredo, hurts him with some shots to the body maybe and some straights, lands some takedowns, frustrates Figgy. And I think Umar is en route to a pretty lopsided win. I think 30-27s across the board. Should be one-way traffic. And like Deiveson Figueiredo, his knee held up in the last one against Montel, but it did give out against Corey Sandhagen. He got stopped bad there. And obviously we remember what Corey, had happened to him against Umar. Umar dominated him. This is a bad matchup for Davis and Figueiredo. Umar's going to be a huge favorite. And let's see if the odds are out yet. Are they? No, they aren't. I'm surprised they're not. I see Umar as a 5-1 favorite in this fight. He should be minus 500. The odds of him losing are incredibly low. It would be a perfectly timed shot by Davis and Figueiredo. Is it an impossibility? The fight game's crazy. Look at Joshua Van Pantoja, right? Freaking elbow dislocation. Figueiredo's got the power to knock out a lot of guys at 135, but does he have the timing on the shot? I don't think so. Against the younger man in Umar, I think Davidson's going to then be too concerned with the takedown threat. I think that will also open strikes up for Umar Nurmagomedov. And I just see Davison Figueiredo pretty clearly outworked here. So Umar Nurmagomedov, unanimous decision, should put two together now, two in a row. And he's definitely in the title shot sweepstakes. Next fight on the card, Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. I'm going with Modestas Bukauskas. I've really been enjoying Modestas 2.0. He's risen. He stepped it up a lot. I mean, since his first UFC run, he's miles better. I've been kind of on the Modestas Bukauskas train. I'm definitely a fan of Modestas Bukauskas. He's coming into this fight with the last two being good wins. Iwan Kutelaba, long time, difficult threat in the UFC light heavyweight division. Fight after that, destroyed a wash Paul Craig. Now he takes on Nikita Krylov. The thing with Nikita Krylov is at one point, I mean, you had a guy that could do everything really well. Kickboxing game was pretty nice. He comes from a, traditional karate background. And he has some, decent stand-up for sure. And decent is even an understatement. Prime Nikita Krylov could strike. And he had good technical shots, and he rolled with shots well, and he had good defensive abilities. But he seems to have lost a step. Really bad knockout loss to Dominic Reyes. One big shot. Then he takes a fight in a fairly quick turnaround time against Bogdan Gushkov, gets destroyed in the first round. He's lost two in a row in the first round. I don't know where Nikita Krylov is at career-wise right now. This is a guy with over 40 fights, right? He's 33 years of age, but he's been in this game forever. 4 months ago, Bogdan knocked him out. By the time we get to this fight, okay, it'll be a little longer out. But I think Modestas Bukauskas is live to give Krylov a bit of trouble in the boxing. I think that Krylov has shown signs of slowing down. I don't know about Bukauskas putting him out in round one, but Bukauskas has fight-stopping power. He has a decent stand-up kickboxing arsenal. He trains with Tom Aspinall. He's actually a really deceptive athlete. Modestas Bukauskas, you see him do backflips and stuff. There's an element to that translates into a matchup against a guy in Nikita Krylov that I think has lost his stride and, slowed down a step. I think Bukauskas is live to find the chin at some point in this fight. I will say the Nikita Krylov side, if you had to kind of paint the perfect game plan, is I think use the wrestling. I think go towards more of a pressure grappling style, take down Modestas Bukauskas, grind out a hard-fought win. Don't risk it on the feet too much because the chin of Krylov seems gone. This is a guy that, he hadn't been actually knocked out outside of his last two fights. I believe Soa Palele was a corner stoppage years ago. No, Soa Palele ground and pound. What am I talking about? I watched that fight years ago live. I remember the early run. The real Al Capone, Nikita Krylov back then. I think that Modestas Bukauskas should beat this version of Nikita Krylov. A bit of a shell of himself. I think that Modestas is going to be sharper with the kickboxing. He's coming into this fight riding 4-fight win streak. Confidence is at an all-time high. He's got knockout power in his hands. He's got good straight punches. He's got pretty heavy kicks to the legs. He's got good body kicks. He's got decent grappling. And I think that, we're also just looking at a guy that's more prime than somebody, coming off 2 losses in a row by first-round KO. Now coming into this fight, it's a lot to come back from against a guy that's surging in Bukauskas. Bukauskas is really on that cusp of top 15 ability, right? He seems to be top 15 to me. And I think at this point in Nikita Krylov's career, this is a winnable fight for Modestas Bukauskas. So my prediction is going to be Modestas Bukauskas. I'm going to say he does find the finish. I'm going to go with knockout win for Bukauskas, and he breaks into the top. And I think big things are coming. I like Bukauskas a lot, but I will say, some of these better top, 10, top 12 guys, I do worry about my boy Modestas Bukauskas when he starts running it with some of the best in the world. But past this prime Nikita Krylov, who's coming off back-to-back KOLs in the first round, Bukauskas should pass that test. I'm going with Modestas Bukauskas. Next fight on the card, it's the main card opener. If you guys are watching and enjoying, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hype the video too. Arnold Allen versus John Silva. I'm picking John Silva to win. Arnold Allen is damn good, though. Like, I really feel like it almost seems no-brainer, but then you have to remind yourself, like, Arnold Allen gave a decent fight over 5 rounds to Max Holloway. He ran it in a good way with Movsar Evloev. And I mean, if not for the different rules then, where like the hand of the opponent means grounded, those knees are legal, and he probably gets the decision against Movsar Evloev. And then his last fight, he destroyed Giga Chikadze. Granted, I mean, Giga Chikadze is past his prime, but a year and 4 months ago, he was better. He wasn't getting, spinning back fist chin by Kevin Vicios. I think that John Silva is still a phenom on the rise. His power is otherworldly. His timing on his shots is unreal. His creativity in striking is a one of one. He can strike from long range in a counter-striking manner. He can pressure forward with big bombs. Like, the reason that he lost to Diego Lopez, okay, obviously Diego Lopez is a beast and had big moments in the first round, etc. But round number 2, I really believe that John Silva forced the issue, when in the past he has shown patience and even an ability to fight off the back foot. Instead, he really chased Diego Lopez down, hunting the finish. And I'll be honest, the shots that John Silva landed there to the chin of Diego Lopez, 99% of guys are going out from that. So it's not like John Silva, was dealing with anybody that's human in there. Like, Diego Lopez is just a different animal. And that normally works for John Silva, which is why he was so confident to walk him down. And then a spinning elbow in a game set match. I think that Arnold Allen is going to get hurt in this fight. I actually think Arnold Allen's going to end up getting chinned. He's a good striker, but I see shots down the center line. Allen, with a bit of that more tuck tie style, getting caught with straight shots from John Silva, big power shots from John Silva. A year and 4 months off, and then John Silva upon your return, that's kind of worst case scenario. Because Silva's got a lot of first round finishes. He can start fights fast, but it's not like he's just chaotic blitzes normally. Like, John Silva is calculated. He's mind games. He's pressure, precision. It's not just chaos with John Silva, which is what makes him so great. And I think that Arnold Allen struggles with that. I think he gets rocked by something big, and I think he gets put down and out. Arnold Allen's a sharp stand-up fighter, though. I mean, he's got great cardio, too. He's fast on the feet. He's good everywhere. His kickboxing is legit. He's got good movement. He's got good straight punches down the line. He's got good shots on, close range with hooks to the body and head. Like, Arnold Allen can mix it up pretty nicely on the feet. He's good. It's just the touch of death from John Silva, the timing on his punches, the creativity of his attack, the fact he's been actively competing. I can't go with an Arnold Allen coming into this fight with that long layoff. I think that's going to be a big red flag around him, and he's getting a big chance. I mean, if you beat John Silva, doesn't matter what John Silva's ranked, Arnold Allen's back in a big way. But I think it's too much too soon. I mean, if you're Arnold Allen, got to be maybe a little bit frustrated with that layoff, right? Because in a perfect world, if Arnold Allen had fought, even an Aljamain Sterling, he could give Aljo a really tricky fight, stopping takedowns and striking with him and touching him up on the feet. If you do Arnold Allen versus Lerone Murphy, that's no walk in the park for Lerone Murphy. Even coming in on short notice, like, for Arnold Allen, there was a lot of better matchups that he could have thrived in against some of the best featherweights in the world. But he gets John Silva, which I think is just the worst possible matchup for him, especially coming into this fight off a year plus off. It's going to be like a year and a half off by the time we get to the fight. So I'm going to go with John Silva for the knockout. Excuse me. Minus 220 for John Silva, plus 185 for Arnold Allen. I think Silva's going to finish him. I think he puts him out too. Arnold Allen, it's not like he's an easy guy to put away. You look at the resume, never been knocked out. Knocked out Dan Hooker in a round, which was sensational. Granted, it was Dan Hooker at 145. That was emaciated. Still, beat Calvin Kerr. Injury, not a little unfortunate, not optimal. Then the Max Holloway fight, he was tuned up, but Holloway, one of the GOATs at featherweight. And then Movsar Evloev in a tooth and nail back and forth fight, a year and 10 months ago. Then the Giga fight, he looked good. He dominated that fight, won a clean decision. But I don't think he has the fight-stopping power to keep John Silva off of him. And if you don't have that, John Silva's a bully, man. You know, he might be fighting out of fighting nerds, but he's a motherfucking bully. And I think John Silva is going to overwhelm Arnold Allen, and I think he's going to knock him unconscious. So I'm going John Silva for KO. Violent fight incoming, and I'm pretty damn stoked to watch John Silva back again. And Arnold Allen, too. I think this fight is fantastic, and it's an amazing first fight on the main card. Like, starting off the Paramount numbered events right, okay, with this main card opener, absolute cult banger and potential for violence. And I'd say, you know, violence is imminent between these two. Somebody's going out, and I think it's going to be Arnold Allen. Next fight on the card, we got Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Derrick Lewis. I got to go with Waldo Cortes-Acosta, man. I do. I have to. Waldo's been on fire right now. I mean, you're talking about a guy coming off back-to-back first-round knockout wins. He's a former professional boxer. He's got really good timing on his punch. He's got good eyes, sees shots coming well. And even if, you know, he gets shut down like he did against Sergey Pavlovich, eats every shot. The chin is unreal for Waldo. And I think it's because he sees the shots coming and he's able to, like, you know, either defend or roll with them well. Unlike a lot of, you know, UFC heavyweights, Waldo Cortes-Acosta has very good reflexes, right? And Derrick Lewis has made his name off violently chinning tons of heavyweights for years. He's the knockout king. And Waldo, as of late, has become a bit of the knockout king himself. I think Waldo Cortes-Acosta is going to catch Derrick Lewis with a big shot. I know a lot of the times, you know, you can pick Waldo by decision, but he's been finding these KOs lately. And the way that Derrick Lewis fights with such a violent onslaught, I think Waldo's live to counter it. I think his timing is going to be something to behold here. As good as Derrick Lewis is, we have to, you know, be honest here. He's 41 years of age. He's coming into this fight with 2 wins in a row. And you know what? A lot to love and respect about back-to-back knockout wins for him. Against Talison Teixeira, who's completely unproven. Against Rodrigo Nascimento, who is now losing in PFL. Before that, the Jailton Almeida fight, one of the worst fights of all time. He just got grapple fucked. Knocked out Rogerio de Lima. I picked him as an underdog there. He landed a beautiful flying knee, stopped him early, and then Spivak in grappling. It doesn't matter. It's a grappling fight. This is going to be stand-up. They're not going to the ground. If anybody's wrestling, it's probably Waldo, actually, mixing in takedowns. I think Waldo Cortes-Acosta has hit his stride in the UFC. And I think he's really found his confidence with MMA striking. And a guy that had a good amount of boxing experience coming in, I think he's going to get to Derrick Lewis. It's not a guarantee he knocks him out. I mean, we could see Waldo play it a little bit safer, maybe look for some takedowns. Derrick Lewis, though, is not an easy guy to take down, not an easy guy to control on the ground. So, I mean, it is probably going to be Waldo striking. I see him caught on the back foot a bit, forced to counter shoot as Derrick Lewis is coming in winging some massive bombs. If Derrick Lewis lands a big shot, I don't care how good your chin is looked in MMA. I mean, he can put anybody out in the heavyweight division. And wouldn't that be the UFC's dream? Derrick Lewis wins to start the year off. They put him on the White House card in a title fight. Doesn't matter. He'll be, you know, 41 years of age, you know, beyond 41, you know, more approaching 42. If he wins here, if Derrick Lewis wins here, especially if he wins in a big way, I could see him fighting Tom Aspinall in a championship fight. Derrick Lewis is just one of those fighters that has that type of pull with the name value that he can put himself in a title fight. And beating Waldo, this feels like the top contender fight. Even though Derrick Lewis is not necessarily deserving of a top contender fight because of his last 2 wins, if he beats Waldo Cortes-Acosta, he's right on the cusp of it. And then he'll have a win over Alexander Volkov, who really is the top contender. Obviously, Cyril Gane, Tom Aspinall, the debacle with all that crap. But you know what I mean, assuming Tom Aspinall has the belt. But maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe Cyril Gane fights the winner of this fight for a vacant title or something like that. We'll see what happens with Tom Aspinall's fighting career. But I do think he'll be back sooner rather than later. I'm going to say that Waldo Cortes-Acosta is able to beat Derrick Lewis. As I'm saying it, though, I must say, this is probably the fan side of me coming out a little bit. I'm seeing this vision of Derrick Lewis clobbering Waldo with a big punch and putting him out, putting together like the shocking knockout as a massive underdog. Is he that massive as a dog? Let's actually check the odds here. Yeah, he's a big dog. Derrick Lewis is at plus 235, upwards of plus 260. I mean, damn, Derrick Lewis always has a puncher's chance. If you are not planning to grapple him, you're always live to get chin. Doesn't matter who you are. But I do think Waldo can get to Derrick Lewis. His chin can hold up like I believe it can, right? And then he lands some bigger shots on D-Lew. D-Lew gasses. D-Lew has thrown some heavy bombs, and when it doesn't come together, he's falling apart, like the Tai Tuivasa fight. Then obviously he was quickly knocked out by Sergey Pavlovich. I don't think that Waldo has that same blitzing ability of a Pavlovich, but he does have precise boxing and a high level boxing. I mean, not the highest level of boxing backgrounds, but very high level MMA boxing. And Derrick Lewis being like the power bomb style, I think Waldo can kind of make his reads on what's coming. He's also going to be 6 years younger. Like, there's an age. By the time he gets to the fight, it's going to be like a 7-year age gap between the two. I got to favor the younger heavyweight who's absolutely on fire right now. And I'm going to say Waldo Cortes-Acosta is live to pull this off against D-Lew. But something feels wrong about it. I don't know why. You guys can let me know in the comments. Like, there is this torn feeling inside where I'm like, should I just be going D-Lew by KO and that's it? You know, it's this weird sensation. It's like I'm just envisioning a world where he could land. But then I'm logical, and I'm like, but Waldo's got a nasty body jab, and he works good straights up high, and he's well-timed with his attack, and he knows how to fight off the back foot, which is, I think, a very successful ability in a matchup like this against Derrick Lewis, who's such a big puncher. I'm going to go with Waldo Cortes-Acosta. I think he's live to also stop Derrick Lewis. I'm going to go knockout win for Waldo. Damn. Knockout win over D-Lew. Cusp of a title shot for Where's Waldo then. Next fight on the card, featured bout of the night. Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. I'm going with Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's going to outstrike Song Yadong. He's the better striker. He's cleaner on the feet. He's better from the mid and long range. He's better with straight shots. O'Malley closing the gap with, you know, good teeps to the body, then into straight punches, then being able to dart in and out of range at a good rate, nasty footwork. I could see Song Yadong chasing him down and getting caught with big counters. Song Yadong's got pretty explosive hooks, and he's dangerous in the pocket, but he was still getting touched a bit by Henry Cejudo. I think Sean O'Malley is going to find a lot of good shots here on Song Yadong. I think Yadong's pressure style is like a bit too basic to beat a guy like Sean O'Malley. And I don't think Song Yadong is going to have a wrestling option here. I don't think he's taking Sean O'Malley down. I could see Song attacking the leg heavy and, you know, maybe trying to hurt O'Malley with low kicks into some big punches up high. But then I see Sean O'Malley kind of boxing his face off with blistering jabs and good straight shots and working nice movement and landing teeps to the body. I think we're going to see Sean O'Malley pull off a nice victory, a good get back win. I could see him stinging Song Yadong up with a lot of shots and like busting him open. Does he put Song Yadong away? I feel like O'Malley is live to put Song away, which I know is kind of crazy to say because if you look at Song's resume, not like he's an easy guy to put out. When's the last time he was knocked out? My God, he hasn't been knocked out since he was a kid. 2015, dude. What is Song Yadong? 18 at the time? How old was Song Yadong here? 18 years old. It's not like Song Yadong has had a history of lacking durability. Went into the fourth round with Sandhagen. Granted, was losing that fight. Doctor stoppage, though. This is a 3-rounder. I could see Sean O'Malley landing the well-timed counter shot on Song Yadong. I think it's because of the way Song Yadong boxes. He like dips side to side and then closes the gap for the big shots. I think the sharper man down the center in Sean O'Malley should be able to find something big. And I do think there's a real possibility that Sean O'Malley could put Song Yadong's lights out. I know a lot of people are going to think, oh, O'Malley's lost 2 in a row. Oh, Marab destroyed him. Like, you know, kind of ready to just say it's over. But I don't think so. I think O'Malley's still getting better. And I think this is like a really winnable matchup here against Song Yadong. Couldn't be a better opportunity for Sean O'Malley. Fighting Song Yadong on the Paramount debut, featured fight of the night. Also on the card is Umar Nurmagomedov. I mean, there's a possibility we see O'Malley, Nurmagomedov. That could be major. But, I mean, if O'Malley goes out and wins, depending on the timeline with the, you know, Marab and Yan 3 fight, or even if that's to be, Sean O'Malley with a knockout could be on the cusp of a title shot, especially seeing that Piotr Jan's got the belt and O'Malley has the controversial win over him. I think there's a rematch on the horizon for the title between O'Malley and Yan in 2026. And I think it comes to fruition with O'Malley knocking Song Yadong out. And I'm going to predict that he does knock Song Yadong out here. Minus 215, Sean O'Malley, plus 185 for Song Yadong. O'Malley's sitting at that favorite status up in here. A lot of sensible favorites, man. Do they got us figure out or something with Paramount? I don't know what the prelim lines are looking like, but for the main card, sensible favorites have taken the cake so far. And I think Sugar Sean O'Malley gets it done against Song Yadong. Should be a good one for him. I think he can pull this one out. I see him looking pretty good. Song Yadong also did lose to Petr Yan. Granted, Petr Yan's a monster. Like that loss is, a terrible thing. Still fought hard against him. And you might be saying, oh, but Yan didn't knock him out. Now O'Malley's gonna. It's just the difference of the timing on the strikes for O'Malley. Give me some pause. And I'm like, I think O'Malley could be live to chin Song Yadong. So we're going with Sean O'Malley for the W. Co-main event of the evening, Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. So when this fight was first announced, I immediately was torn between the two. And I still feel a bit torn. I'm kind of having a bit of a tumultuous back and forth battle, but I'm going to go with my initial instinct. I'm going to go Kayla Harrison, okay? I was kind of feeling like flip-flopping when I first reacted to this fight being announced a while ago. And I was like, oh, but maybe Amanda. But I'm just hearing, remember that the fighter's activity is everything. The fighter that's here fighting, striving to be the champ, becoming the champ, chasing more versus the one defending more in Amanda Nunes. I think that Kayla Harrison really is live to give Amanda Nunes the most difficult grappling fight of her life. Now, this is a pick that I could see myself the week before going against and flipping the other way, because I do see a pathway for Amanda Nunes if she can keep it on the feet. I just don't know where she's at. I think back to that first fight against Juliana Pena where she broke, and I'm like, okay, that's in her. I think back to years ago, Kat Zingano beating her. That's still in her. As great as she was and the heights that she reached, I could still see overwhelming grappling onslaught from Kayla, top control, ground and pound into Amanda Nunes, giving up her neck and getting strangled here. I'm going to say that Kayla Harrison pulls this one off. I think she's live to win by finish. I think she's live to melt Nunes with the pressure grappling. Kayla Harrison inside of the UFC has looked amazing. Destroyed Holly Holm. Ketlen Vieira gave her a tough fight. Okay, Ketlen Vieira, primed, still a contender on the rise right now. And to be honest with you, has the most recent loss to Norma Dumont, but, kind of a testy decision, to be honest. And then after that, she destroys Juliana Pena easily on the ground. And I'm thinking about Amanda Nunes getting taken down. And I'm thinking about Amanda Nunes at 37 getting put a lot of pressure on her and a lot of work from top and a lot of takedowns to stuff. It's not just going to be a stand-up fight where Kayla's going to sit there and slug and let Amanda Nunes tee off. I'm thinking Kayla Harrison gets on top, and I'm thinking Amanda Nunes might wilt to that pressure. Like, what the fuck am I doing back? Like, what is she really fighting for? Two-weight world champion, right? Has done everything. Dominance throughout her reign. Why? Why come back for this? Obviously, the puzzle of Kayla Harrison, something very new to solve. And Kayla Harrison, obviously, judo background and, a gold medalist in judo. Obviously, Ronda Rousey comparisons. There's not many comparisons beside the judo, but you know what I mean. And then it was destroyed Ronda Rousey. But this is a completely different fight. This is like a well-refined, evolved Kayla. And also, it's a Kayla Harrison that has a disgusting weight cut and is one of the biggest 35ers ever, carrying insane amounts of muscle mass into the cage. I think Amanda Nunes is going to be a bit shell-shocked by the physicality advantage from Kayla. And then you add in that she has been out 2.5 years. She didn't finish Irene Aldana. She beat her up, but she didn't finish Irene Aldana. She dropped Pena a few times, but she didn't finish Pena. Is she going to put Kayla Harrison away? And if she doesn't, and Kayla keeps coming, Amanda Nunes is not going to survive that. I don't see a come-from-behind win from Amanda Nunes at 37. If there is a comeback, I see it more likely on the side of Kayla Harrison. I think Kayla Harrison is live to get a stoppage in the second or third round. I think Amanda Nunes could win by first-round knockout, though. Like if Kayla Harrison comes out slugging on the feet, Amanda Nunes could hit her with one shot. And this fight could be over quick. Amanda Nunes could cement her legacy beyond anything. I mean, it's already cemented, but beyond going out and just catching Kayla with a perfect shot, round number one, makes it look easy. And then, like, yes, I'm the greatest female fighter ever. We already knew that, but like, I'm even greater than you thought. I can come off and then knock out the boogie woman in Kayla Harrison. I can put her away. It's possible. But it just almost feels like too good to be true. You know, that's a true storybook ending. How many times do we see the storybook ending, especially with a fighter coming back off a 2.5-year layoff? If she does not put Kayla Harrison away in the first round, I think this fight could start to get away from her. And I think Kayla gets better as this fight goes on. I'm going to say Kayla Harrison does it. I'm going to say Kayla Harrison is beating Amanda Nunes. And I think she's live to win with some ground and pound and potentially win by submission. I'm going Harrison for the dub. Harrison's a -160 favorite. At open, it was -170, so it's been sitting around a similar range, as it should be. Amanda Nunes sitting at +140, the underdog status. Yeah, guys, I think so. I don't know. Something's telling me. I'm hearing a whisper in my ear that Kayla Harrison stops her beyond the first. If it's round one, I think it's Amanda Nunes lighting Kayla Harrison up and putting on that wow performance. But it's not like she chins everybody. I know she knocked Chris Cyborg out in one big shot, but it's not like Amanda Nunes was just destroying everybody in one round. You know, Megan Anderson, she absolutely mauled on the ground, but Megan Anderson was levels below. Okay, decision with Felicia, decision with Juliana Pena, decision with Irene Aldana, right? Decision against Dirandame. Knocked out Holly Holm in the first round back in 2019. Chris Cyborg in the first round back in 2018. But look at that. Raquel Pennington is running it up into round number 5, you know? She beats Rousey and Tate early, but Valentina split. You see what I'm saying? If Kayla can survive the dangerous stand-up early, the big, big punches, because Nunes has manpower, okay? It's not normal. If Kayla survives that on the feet, Kayla's going to destroy her on the ground and break her. So I'm going to go Kayla Harrison. I think she's live for a submission finish here. I'm going to say she gets it done beyond round one. I like 2 to 3. I think that we're going to see Amanda Nunes wilt to the pressure of the primed, hungry, and freakishly jacked Kayla Harrison in the co-main event. Main event of the evening. If you guys are enjoying the early picks, make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and make sure you hype the video too. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight belt. Oh, Paddy the baddie. Yeah, I'm picking Paddy Pimblett. Justin Gaethje's 37, man. Another 37-year-old fighting for a world title. At least with this one, though. Justin Gaethje just fought. I mean, what, 9-month layoff? That's not bad. 37, 9 months off is fine. Give your body some more rest to recover. He's still a sharp blade. But Paddy Pimblett's going to be too much for him, man. Paddy's on fire right now. Paddy's an underrated striker. Paddy's really quick on the feet. He's actually got like pretty good blistering straight shots and pretty snappy kicks as well. He's a confident stand-up fighter. His stand-up game is legit. Paddy Pimblett's got pretty nice timing. And then on the ground, I mean, Paddy Pimblett's jiu-jitsu is nasty. Paddy Pimblett's ground game is really good. Really, really, really good. Paddy Pimblett, I think, is a bit underrated. I don't know. He's fighting for the world title. Maybe I'm tripping a bit, but I think on the rise, right? Like heading into the Michael Chandler fight, there were still people that thought, oh, well, Chandler could out wrestle. I'm like, no. Paddy Pimblett destroyed Michael Chandler easily. Paddy Pimblett is an absolute problem at 155 pounds for anybody in the top 5, okay? Like Ilia Topuria and Paddy is a very intriguing fight. Obviously, Topuria's knockout power and boxing combinations are second to none. But Paddy Pimblett has the size advantage. Like, I'm looking at this fight against Gaethje, and it's like, okay, the one thing that's negated here is there's not a Paddy Pimblett size advantage. Him and Gaethje are about the same height, right? We see 5'10", 5'11". They look about the same height to me. Paddy might even be an inch taller, to be honest with you. Paddy's going to have the reach advantage, which I think, you know, could be a bit useful, but it's not like Paddy's just sticking a long jab on him from outside. But I do think Paddy could catch Justin Gaethje on the feet. I think there's this notion going around that, like, if it's striking, well, Gaethje just knocks him out with big shots or just rips his legs apart. Like, Gaethje could just throw bombs from top position, from, you know, striking, backing him up from top position, not with ground and pound. But you know what I mean, okay? From being on the feet and putting pressure on Paddy Pimblett. I look at the side of Justin Gaethje, and I definitely think the stand-up is legit. His leg kicks are unreal. His hook power over the top with overhands and left hooks. I mean, listen, Justin Gaethje can crack like very few, but he also is pretty hittable. Walks in, a little bit on the stiffer side. Shots can get through, but granted, his boxing has looked better. He's adopted a bit of an educated jab, and he's a sharp kickboxer. He beat Fiziev last time. Justin Gaethje's really good on the feet. But I think it's because of the Paddy Pimblett timing. He could have some moments on the feet into the threat of grappling. Justin Gaethje comes from a base of wrestling, but he's not a good MMA wrestler. Defensively, he's okay, but you can get Justin Gaethje down. Paddy can take him down. And on the ground, Paddy Pimblett's ability to get to the back, to get to a more dominant position, and then threaten with a submission. Look at the triangle from Mount that he set up against Bobby Green. Paddy just flows when it's on the ground. It just all goes at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like there's no hesitancy. It all just goes together, right? Just flows. It just waves together. It's extremely high level MMA grappling. And I think that is a big difference maker here against Justin Gaethje. On top of the fact that Paddy has got deceptive stand-up, very good striking, very legit kickboxing, very good chin. Scousers don't get knocked out. Well, it's going to be put to the test. I think you could still crack Gaethje on the feet for sure. I think Gaethje's hittable with straight shots. And I think that Paddy Pimblett's confidence to close the gap and throw hard could be effective in this matchup, even against Gaethje. And a club and sub is not crazy. We've seen Gaethje drop before. And then you look at the fact that Gaethje's 37, Paddy's 31, right? Primed versus certainly not primed. I'm going to favor primed. My prediction is going to be Paddy Pimblett goes out, wins, and I do think he is live for the finish. Some call submission finish, but it wouldn't be the craziest thing ever if he put Justin Gaethje away on the feet, which I know is going to give people some pause, but I think that Paddy can box with Gaethje. I think Paddy's striking's underrated. He's really fast. And Justin Gaethje is 37. Yeah, I'm going Paddy Pimblett to stop him. I do think most sensible outcome, though, is Paddy by sub. Looking at the lines, Paddy's a 2-1 favorite, around -195 to -200. Gaethje +170 to +165. No props or anything out just yet, but was curious to check. I'm going to say Paddy the Baddy becomes the interim UFC lightweight champ. And I really cannot wait for Ilia Topuria to come back. Obviously, he's dealing with a lot, in the divorce and whatnot with the ex-wife as far as like supposed, blackmailing, etc., domestic disputes. We'll see what comes to light with that and when Ilia Topuria can turn around. But we got the interim belt on the line. And the winner of this fight should be fighting Ilia Topuria sooner rather than later in, probably Q2 of 2026. And I really think it's going to be Paddy Pimblett. And I think Paddy looks dynamic in this fight against Justin Gaethje. And I do think this could be the fight where he does show that high-level stand-up game. And people are like, oh, damn, Paddy's striking's a lot better than we give him credit for. Oh, damn. He dropped Justin Gaethje and then he subbed him. I think club and sub could come together. But if need be, Paddy can land takedowns and beat the shit out of Justin Gaethje into a submission from top position. Paddy can win this fight, I believe, anywhere this fight takes place. I'm going Paddy Pimblett and the lightweight interim champion of the world come January 24th, probably 25th by the time these two fight, right at midnight Eastern time. And then the interim champ will be crowned. And the Paramount debut will start off, I believe, with a banger card. This is a stacked card. It might not be the main event that everybody would have hoped for because they would have hoped for an Ilia Topuria main event, of course. But it is a stacked card. And don't say Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett is not a sick fight, regardless of, the world championship not being on the line, being an interim fight. Really a glorified number one contender fight. But this is just stacked with big names. Come on. This card is fantastic. This is going to be an amazing start to Paramount. And the main card, the numbered event, it now starts at 9 p.m. Eastern time as opposed to 10, which I like that even more. So looking forward to all of it. Of course, I'll be live for the whole card. I'm currently on vacation, Jay. All right. So I'm in Jersey at the moment. And I hope you guys are having a nice UFC drought week 1. I'll be back with the usual content flow next week. with the daily streams and whatnot, and you know, some off-week videos, etc., with the gaming stream going down December 23rd, day before Christmas Eve, which I'm excited for that. It'll be Santa Claus themed, so there'll be a lot of things on the channel this week, a little lighter. I was gonna do this video Sunday, and you know, whatever happened, your boy slept 1 hour after the fight companion. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that video the first night that I'm here. So night 2, got it in. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Definitely let me know what you thought of the early predictions. I want to hear from some of you guys. Drop some of your favorite picks, some of your least favorite. Do you disagree with some of me on some? What are the ones you're like, nah, I'm against you, bro? I think you're wrong. I want to hear. Or if you're like, hell yeah, I see it. I do think like early, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking like, man, it feels like there's a real chance that like Natália Silva and Paddy Pimblett win, which I don't know. I'm not trying to just say like, you know, go out early and two-leg it, but I'm just looking at it right now and I'm just thinking this to myself. And I'm like, Paddy the baddie, right, at -200 with -270. What does the two-leg parlay get you? Let's see if I can find it here. Get you about +105 range. Something to be said. On vacation, Jay, going deeper. Listen, if you don't watch any of the other content, you're missing out. But for those, I just want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Enjoy yourselves, all right? I'm on vacation, Jay. I want to get back to vacationing, all right? It's 2:23 in the morning. I want to get back to chilling. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, all right? Love you all. Thanks for watching, my people. And W's in the comments if you got nothing to say. But definitely smash the like, smash the subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and hype the video too. Keep on locking in with your boy. We'll be back on the usual content flow next week with the gaming stream on the 23rd. You got to watch it, okay? 8 p.m. Eastern time sharp, all right? Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Peace out and good night.